Hey, thanks for watching Practical Solutions. I'm John, and today we're going to go over DMVPN Phase 2. In the previous video, we did a complete DMVPN Phase 1 configuration, and for Phase 2, there's only slight changes. So as you can see, it's still the same topology. We did add another branch because I'm going to show you what happens when you have spoke-to-spoke communication on a DMVPN for Phase 2. To begin off, multi-point mGREs are going to be on all of the tunnels. So it's not just going to be on the hub anymore. It will also transition over to the spokes. So that's the first thing that we'll do. Then we'll update our crypto maps if you have crypto maps. If you're using crypto maps, then you would go ahead and add in your other peers now, which would be your other spokes versus just the hub originally when you're designing a Phase 1. If you don't use crypto maps, and we haven't went over the tunnel protection, but if we added tunnel protection, as long as your underlying crypto matches the hub and the spokes, and you're using something that everybody all has, which you will, then you don't have to worry about crypto maps because you already have the tunnel protection slapped on the actual tunnel itself, which in my opinion is way better than using crypto maps. Crypto maps are very old, harder, more complex. You put them on interfaces. It's way easier just to do the tunnel configuration for tunnel protection and then slap that on the tunnels. Way easier transition. So let's jump into the branch and we will go ahead and change that to a multi-point mGRE tunnel. And then for the hub, we'll put in the new eigrp command to allow for easier route distribution. Because now that we're talking from branch to branch, the hub is playing less and less of a role. As in NHRP, it would be forwarding. So as we get more advanced into the phases, you're going to see more dynamicness in the tunnels. And you'll see that as the configurations change throughout the videos. So on the hub, let's go ahead and config T. Interface tunnel 0. The one major command that we need here is no IP, next hop self, eigrp, and then the autonomous system number that we're using. So if you're on the tunnel, that's what you get. You'll see that we have the no IP split horizon, which was from the Phase 1, and the no IP next hop self, which is for Phase 2. And then we'll go ahead and configure the branch. So on the branch, config T, interface tunnel 0, and then on interface tunnel 0, no tunnel destination. There's no more tunnel destination. We're going to do the same thing we did on the hub in the first video, tunnel mode GRE, and then instead of being point to point, we are now multi-point. End. And then we'll write that. Show IP interface brief shows tunnels up. Show DMVPN shows the tunnel is still up, and we can go ahead and just to make sure, because we are using evng, so you want to make sure that the actual configuration is taking and this is not just stuck. I've seen that sometimes the evng where it'll say that something is working, but in reality it's not, which you always have to double check. There we go. All right, so we have our eigrp relationship. And we have our DMVPN. All right, and it is to the hub, so it is still static. Because if I do a show run interface tunnel 0, you can see we still have the static NHS put in here, which is going to make sense. You're going to have this. This is going to be getting you to the hub. Your spokes, though, will be your dynamicness. So let's go ahead and here. Let me show what we have on tunnel 0. So on branch 2, I already have it set up with a multi-point. I already have all the configurations that that we need. I just shut it down. So we're going to do a no shut. And now we'll start seeing neighbor relationship build. And there you go. So now that we see that branch 2 has come up, how do we talk point to point? Well, let's say branch 1 or branch 2 had resources that need to access each other, right? So normally you'd have firewalls and everything else in there, but since this is a very basic broken down structure, just to show you how the technology works, I will show you with a ping. So what I'll do is show IP interface brief. We already see that tunnel 0 that we have is .3. Let's ping .2, which is branch 1. So I will ping 172.0.0.2. Okay, let's go over here and see what that means. All of a sudden now I have a dynamic relationship because this spoke reached out to the other spoke and wanting some form of communication, right? Or to pass data to each other. In this case, just ICMP packet. But what it does, it shows you that in DMVPN, we built that dynamic relationship now with that peering. So now on branch, which is, we do a show IP interface brief, we are the 10.0.0.2 underlay and overlay of 172.0.0.2. As you can see, we've now established with branch 2, which is .3 and .3 respectively, and it is dynamic. So that shows you that DMVPN is working, it's dynamic, we're now in phase 2, and that's all it is. That's all it takes. Obviously, you also have tunnel protection and whatnot that you can always add on, and those things can lead to different discrepancies. But for our case in point, until the next video, we're just focusing on the technology. And there you have it. Thanks for watching. I'm John. Till next time, take care.